Welcome to Wednesdays with Willa. I am your host, Willa White, and this is my weekly podcast show that airs on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern on my Facebook page, Willa White Medium. It's an opportunity for us to have a spiritual conversation with a special guest, usually relating to a topic on spiritualism, mediumship, healing, faith, family, or more. And my show airs on my Facebook page, Willa White Medium, so you can always look back at the archive videos of the show. This is year 6 of Wednesdays with Willa.
Wow.
So there are lots of shows that you can you'll binge to your heart's content. I know when people finally find my show, they're just amazed at the wealth of topics and information and education that they can have from this particular podcast show. You can also find it on my YouTube channel, and this will get uploaded as well to blogtalkradio.com/Lilydale Radio. There are a lot of Lilydale Radio shows you can tune into throughout the week. A lot of great opportunities for you to learn more about your very own soul. So on today's show, I am very happy to welcome back onto the show is John Holland. Thanks for being here today, John.
I will. How are you?
Doing well. I'm so glad.
6 years? 6 years.
Yes.
Wow.
And I've been registered. This will be 21 years registered as a medium in Lilydale. And
so you started as a child. You started as a child.
Exactly, a wee little child.
Yeah.
And so it's great to have you back on the show. For those of you who don't know who John Holland is, I don't know how you don't know, but John Holland is a medium, very popular medium, an author of many books. And he's been featured on several documentaries on A&E and on the Biography Channel and the History Channel. And I know your latest book was Bridging Two Realms.
Yeah, learn to communicate with your loved ones on the other side. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, John has been a wealth of mediumship knowledge for many, many years. And it's always a delight to be with you. And I know you've helped a lot of people throughout the years, and you'll bring a lot to our particular topic today, which is the power of the soul. So Get ready, folks, for a great show. And I know that the power of the soul, there are many aspects to it, especially as it relates to mediumship. And so happy that we can explore that topic today.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, my first book, Power of the Soul, came out in 2000 and wow. You know what, too? Somebody said to me the other day, you're a pioneer in the industry. And I went, what? I thought that's for older people. And I said, well, I did start, my first book came out, I signed with Hay House in 2018. No, what am I saying? 2003. So yeah, so 20 years of doing the work. And that's only with Hay House. I started before then. So I guess pioneer is a compliment also, Sure. So they said, don't you look at yourself as a pioneer? I never really did, Willa, right? So Power of the Soul came out in, I think, 2007. Right. So, but if you notice now, everyone, and for you too, Willa, everything is about soul, right? I think we go through waves. Empath was popular, still is, right? The word empath, and then soul is being woven into a lot of subjects now too. And, so we can talk about the power of the soul, the different aspects of it, the gifts, talents, and abilities, why I even started investigating stuff on the soul. Yeah.
Absolutely. Tell us all about it.
Well, when I usually write, Willa, when I write, I don't just write to write a book to put out. I have to have something to say because, someone said, are you going to write another mediumship book? Well, Bridging of the Soul, part 2 of that is part of that. Part 1 is for the bereaved. A lot of people now, a lot of sitters and people that are missing their loved ones, they want to know, is my loved one okay? Do they see me, what's happening in my life? Can they hear my thoughts? Can I communicate with them? Is this really them? Because a lot of people, I think, are touching on the realm of mediumship, right? Doesn't necessarily mean to be a medium. I think we're becoming even more sensitive. Some people don't know what to do with it. So when it came to our Power of the Soul many years ago, I said, well, after being a medium, it's not just about connecting with loved ones on the other side. They have a soul. They're a spirit. Discarnate, we are a spirit incarnate. So here I'm going to say spirit and soul is the same thing. Your soul, you are a body that comes with you are a soul that comes with the body, not a body that comes with the soul. Everyone says, oh, I have a soul. No, you are a soul. You're a soul first. You were a soul long before you came here, and you're going to be a soul long after you leave here. And so I talk to souls on the other side, spirits. Okay. But I said, well, people have to realize all the abilities that you have over there that they have, we have here, discarnate, incarnate. And I love a lot of people, a lot of common, not common, a lot of people don't understand that word discarnate, incarnate. Soul, spirit, out of the body, discarnate, incarnate. You have the same ability, so you're still connected to a part of it. And if you have a soul, which you do, okay, you wouldn't be here. You're connected to the divine, to God, the universe. So no one is ever really alone, Willa. We feel separated here because we're cut off from that, right? Isn't it funny too, Willa? We come from that place on the other side, right? Where we know a lot, we know, so you know, why we did the things in previous lives, or why we want to incarnate here too. We come there with all that knowledge, and then we come here from that place, and then we forget it, and then we spend the rest of our lives trying to find it again, right? So my work with the soul is showing people, yes, mediumship is just one aspect of me, Willa. It's one aspect of you. It's not all that I am. Okay, I've got other talents, other gifts, other abilities, and a lot of it has to do with the soul. So that's why I started investigating or discovering even more. Even though the book came out many years ago, right now I started my own membership community, My Soul Community. But that's not why we're here, because a lot of people are asking, what's my purpose? Why am I here? That's a big thing now, right? Mediumship, most people believe in the afterlife now, okay? So that's done and dusted, right? So a lot of people want to know, what is my purpose? And that's what I try to help them with, and remember, I'm a Hay House author with Louise Hay. So all about the power of belief, negativity, what were you conditioned as a child? What belief do you have? Because you could try to be, we're all spiritual because we're a spirit, right? But if you want to manifest things in your life, okay, but yet you still have anger towards somebody and you're holding that in your heart, it can't happen, right? So I try to help people with a lot of that too. And it's really evolved since I've had the community for it's going on 3 years now. So yeah, so in mediumship, it's just one part of it. I'll always be a medium. All right. And Willa, I know I'm doing all the talking. Things are starting to emerge from me. And we can talk about that too in a minute. Things are starting to emerge from me, not seeing something that somebody else is doing. I like that. I want to do that. Something is coming from me, and I'll share that with you too. And it's actually healing, Willa. Healing is coming. I know I'm supposed to go to it. I'm supposed to study and medical stuff is happening, Willa. Right?
Yeah,
I can look at somebody and go,
is becoming more strong. Yeah.
Yes, it's evolving. So I have to let it, right? So, but I will get just like being a medium when I studied in England, I'm not just going to just do it. Why is it happening? How is it happening? What's the mechanics of it? And I'm really, really drawn to animals, right? Especially dogs. So a lot of my work is going towards animal healing. I'm now being trained for animal Reiki, different pressure points of the different points in the body of the animals. So yeah, and I love it. It's lighting me up, Willa. What lights me up are dogs. I swear to God. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going with it. Yeah.
Well, you've been a dog lover for years. I know that's something you've been involved with in terms of charity work as well. And
Yeah.
it's always been important to you. And I think it's a beautiful thing that healing is a form of mediumship, and mediumship is a form of healing.
That's right.
Both of them coexist together, and to feel and know that you are a channel of the divine's energy, that it courses through you to someone else, and including pets. And I recently had a show, if people want to look back at the archive videos of pet healing at home. So how you can do pet healing for your
brilliant. I'll watch for that.
Yeah, you need to look at the
I'll go look
show
for that
with Joanne Copley Nigro that just did within the last month or so. So you'll be able to
how synchronistic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so isn't it beautiful that as souls we can do the work of spirit? We have these gifts of the spirit, of which healing is one of them, and that we all express that to different degrees.
That's right.
And that I've noticed with mediumship and healing, both of them, that it's about having right practice and right intention. Those seem to be the most important ingredients, shall we say, the main two ingredients to have that effectively occur for us. And that when we apply that sacred understanding, that pure spirit of love is what is conveyed. And it can be someone's purpose. When you're talking about gifts of the spirit, the power that is the soul will convey that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then you are that beautiful bridge between the two realms, like your latest book, right? Because we are bridging from the divine into the physical
Yeah,
construct.
absolutely.
And I can't wait to hear more about what you're doing with that.
Yeah, well, when people talk about purpose too, my definition of your soul purpose is life purpose, soul purpose. Why are we here? You are to be a divine being from God, using your you are a divine being from God, using your gifts, talents, and ability to help others, right? In healing mediumship, it is, and I'm still serving, it's still for others, right? It's still for
Yes.
others. And you have to realize too, the healing, everyone, I think many of your viewers, they know that the healing and mediumship is not coming from me, right? I am not that power. I can be, my soul is the power. It's coming through me, right? So if a medium says, if a medium or a healer says, I have the power, no, pal, it's coming through you. Do you understand? Yeah. And when it comes to purpose too, using your gifts, talents, abilities, a lot of people take their gifts, talents, abilities for granted, Willa. Like if I said to you, Willa, or to anyone too, is what do you do that you just think, oh, but that's just something I do? I mean, are you good at designing? Are you good at listening? Are you good at with kids? Some people look at that, well, as like, yeah, but that's just something that I do. It's one of your purpose. It's one of your gifts, talents, and abilities to help others, because everyone thinks it's supposed to be, it's not meant to be career oriented. Your sole purpose or your gifts, talents, ability. It can turn into that, like mine did with mediumship. But the animals, the healing that's coming, emerging from me, my soul's guiding me towards it. It's just an ability, and I'm using that not as a career per se to help others. Do you see? So think about it, everyone. What do you do? It could be. I always use this analogy too with my members. There's a woman. She's an Italian cook. Everybody comes to her house for her food, her meatballs, her pasta, and she's fantastic. But what happens when they're having dinner with her or she's serving them, she has a way of listening and giving life wisdom that she lived to these people, and they leave feeling better. So see what I mean? Her ability is that she's a communicator. That is a gift, right? And if you can use that, doesn't mean she's going, her career is a chef, right? Or an Italian cook, but one of her abilities, that's an ability too, the cook part of it, but her ability to give wisdom is an ability. Just one more example. There's a woman in my town. She's a lawyer. She loves art. She knows about the masters, Van Gogh, Rembrandt. She knows about oils and watercolors, but she's not an artist per se. She loves art, right? So she knows different forms of art, whether it's abstract or if it's contemporary or whatever. So what did she do? She took her knowledge of art. She opened up an artist studio in the mill that we have in town, so local artists can show their work and people can come and go see them. She doesn't want anything. She's not getting paid for it. She used her talent, her ability of knowledge, put it in a studio so other people can benefit. That's what it's all about, Willa. That's what I'm talking about. You see?
I love it. I love it. I think it's that recognition of how do you minister and serve others.
That's right.
And that when that shows up, it can be through food, as you were giving the example of, and it can also come through art. It can come through you knitting a bunch of hats and scarves that children or homeless people would need for the winter. And it doesn't always have to be that you're someone up on TV or that you have that huge influence per se. It can be, what are you doing on a community level, or on a family level or friend level, whatever you can do to help your tribe, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
what you're doing too,
your circle.
If your purpose, when I see your purpose too, what are you passionate about? What lights your soul up, guys? Art lights my soul up. Animals light my soul up. Watching another medium when I'm not doing it lights my soul up. I really, really do. And someone said, you're going to another one? I don't go to judge a medium. I go to participate, to support, to say, oh my God, you're Willa, you're like me too. If something comes through us that's like so mind blowing, I'm like this. Yes, that is so good. How did you do that? I'm talking, I give the credit to the spirit, not to me. I'm just a good communicator from doing it for 25, 30 years or something, you see? So what lights you up, everyone? That's how you figure out and if you do that, you do what you light up, you serve or help others doing what you do that you take for granted, right? More is gonna come to you guys for yourself also, but don't do it just to get. The universe is going to help, is the divine, the universe, it's going to give back to you anyways if you're helping others. Even a small act of kindness, Willa, the universe gives back. Yeah.
And that's absolutely true. And I like how you're explaining that when it comes to the soul's purpose, it doesn't have to be this, what does the guidance counselor say your job should be when you grow up? This is about your soul and how that evolves. And so a soul's purpose can also change throughout a lifetime. You might have one soul purpose that lasts for the entire life, or it might be things are broken up in different stages because people change, right? So in this stage of life, they needed to do this, and another stage of life, they needed to do that. And so just know that there's an evolution of a soul's purpose as well that can happen. And when you look back on a life, you can go, oh, this is how I did serve other people.
There's a blueprint, Willa. There's a blueprint. I really believe that we're sometimes the blueprint.
Better if we don't know all of the good things we've done for other people, because then we might feel the overwhelm of that. There's a humbleness that still needs to be part of that experience of the soul. And so when people come to you, if somebody were to come to you and say, what is my soul's purpose? Would you start to go into, let's question, what lights you up? And once we figure out what lights you up, then we have it a little bit closer. And then how would you suggest that someone fine tunes that further?
Well, when someone comes to me, I'm still learning and growing with it all too. A lot of people do assessments or soul readings where they can see why they came into this life. A lot of people use colors. I know Janet Havoc, bless her, she had a lot of mediums come there that did soul readings. You can look at someone, right? If you have, you're intuitive also. You don't even have to be, but if you're intuitive, I can look at someone and go, oh my God, look at all that green. I said, oh my God, you got healing ability. Do you know that? And I say, don't do it because I said, John Holland said it. And they should say, yes, I've always wanted to be a nurse, but I decided to not go to school and work in an office or something too. And it doesn't matter, as long as they're helping people in another way, healing, that's there. And you could also see, I was also taught as a medium, Mavis Patilla, bless her heart too. And I know a couple other mediums do this. You could look at someone and right around them, you can see different things that happened. I do this in my workshops where you can stop at someone's age and say, here is the beginning and here is where they are now. Child, right to present. You can see the different things that happened in somebody's life, certain ages, which I think is totally amazing also. Yeah, so this is part of like the Akashic records too, I think, which is another big word. But I always encourage people too that intuitively, I don't see people per se for that. I teach it. Eventually, I want to make sure I have it down, right? When I start doing the soul readings, I do it for the members. Where I talk about their abilities, their talents, their gifts, talents, abilities. And what happens is, if here's a tip, if you are drawn to something and say it's an art class, a dance class, a cooking class, or get someone you want to get to know, all right, and it keeps coming back to you, you keep pushing it away, it keeps coming back. That's your soul saying here. If it's your imagination, it's going to leave and don't come back. Intuition or your soul, it'll keep bringing back. And that's why this animal healing stuff came. It's synchronous. And there are 4 ways that your soul, there's many ways that your soul tries to get your attention, Willa. One is intuition. All right. Intuition is the language of the soul. We don't listen to it. Sometimes we kick ourselves in the butt when we don't listen to it. And we're like, God, I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't listen to it. Then there's synchronicity. Synchronicity is another way where the right person's going to be put in front of you. Someone wants to be a nurse. And they're thinking about it, they're investigating it. I use this analogy a lot. They're at a supermarket and they're in line. They choose a line right in front of them. is a bunch of is two nurses talking about the hospital and the openings that are there or the work that's going on. Then you might do this. Well, that's weird. And then you go somewhere else and then you meet another nurse. And then you meet another one in the medical field. That's your soul bringing to you the signs, right? But we push it away, Willa, by saying this. Isn't that weird? How strange is that? No, guys, there aren't any coincidences. I don't believe in coincidence. It's God's way of saying, it's your soul's way of saying, here, this way, look at this. Your soul can only push you so long, right? So it's intuition, synchronistic events, and then also there is wake-up calls. Wake-up calls, you know what that's like, Willa, when someone has something, they're not following their soul. Like me, I moved to LA and I always had intuitive abilities as a kid and art. I studied psychic ability as a child, but I didn't do anything with it. I got into an automobile accident. Then the psychic and mediumship started happening, not overnight, but a lot of people, Willa, they think, so he became psychic because that's how Unsolved Mysteries, the TV show, featured it.
Right.
He gets into an accident, and then suddenly I was already like this, but my wake-up call was when that accident happened. The car was crunched. I walked away. And when I was living a young man in LA, originally from New England, where I am now, I was a young guy in LA, not doing what I was supposed to be doing, partying, working different jobs. And I had a wake-up call. And when that happened, I thank God. I got my life together. The relationship that I was in ended. That should have ended a while ago. Got my own place. Mediums, the psychic work turned up even more. So it wasn't the accident. The accident woke me up. Figuratively and spiritually. Energy centers all aligned, and I followed it, and that's when everything started happening. Yep.
And so
that
it
put me
became
on the
this
path.
catalyst for the amplification
Absolutely.
of your existing gifts
Yep.
that were kind of laying dormant a bit in
Yep.
you until
Yep.
it could come to full bloom.
That's right. That's right. And I think it's a blueprint too. I think we're all born with the blueprint before we come here to meet certain people, because if you think about it, people think about the important people that have put you on the path. If I never met this photographer named Kathy that I worked with as a studio manager, who invited me to go to LA with her, she paid for it. She was going to go see all the record companies. I was just her assistant. I never would have went to LA, where I met a talent agent, because I was going to be an actor and get into the modeling business. If I didn't meet her, I never would have went to LA, which brought me to LA, where the accident happened, that brought me to meeting a guy from England, that brought me to go to Stansted. See, there were certain people in your life that are catalysts. And I think if people think about it and say, yep, okay, that person's important. I believe we put the conditions in front of us before we come. There's a blueprint. Some of us follow it, others meander from it for a while. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
And so what's the fourth tip? You said there were 4 tips. Yes.
Yep. It is. I'm going a little blank. That's why I'm trying to talk and go around it, right?
Oh,
it's
okay.
Intuition. Oh, I'm sorry. Fabulous. Number 1, dreams. Your soul tries to come through your dreams, all right? And a lot of people, and I know Kevin Tedeschi from the Edgar Cayce Foundation, who was the CEO of the ARE. He has a big, he's so knowledgeable on dreams. I did a webinar with him too. Dreams, someone says, I don't dream. Yes, you do. Guys, okay, everybody dreams, and there are ways to program your dreams. Or there's ways to teach you how to remember your dreams. Either you're not getting enough sleep, or you're drinking before you go to bed. And if you program yourself to remember your dreams. So dreams are number 1, right? Then intuition, synchronistic events, wake-up calls. And dreams aren't these random things that happen, Willa. When you break down somebody's dream, which I can do now, not as good as Kevin, but I'm like, yep. If somebody has they're dreaming that the brakes don't work on their car, they're dreaming that, and they're in the car, a boat, a bus, you are the car. Where do you need to slow down in your life? Yeah, where do you need to slow down in your life? If you're dreaming that there are bugs on you, who's bugging you? If you have something growing on your neck, you may say, God, I had this dream, I had this thing on my neck. Who's the pain in the neck, right? If your legs I'm just using this as an analogy. There are roots coming out of your legs and all over the place. Where do you need to be grounded? There's ways to teach yourself, and that's your soul's way of putting it to you, because our conscious mind steps aside in your dreams. So dreams, intuition, synchronistic events, are really, really big. And the more you start noticing synchronous events, Willa, the more it's going to start to happen.
Very true. That
And
is,
then wake up
the
calls.
soul is always looking for meaning. Absolutely. We're always
And
looking
learning.
for,
Yeah.
and the learning of that, and to have a divine experience.
Yeah.
Whether we know we're consciously aware of needing that at the
Yeah.
time, but it's something our soul says, look at that. That's God loving you. The other day, it was sunset, and there was a heart, not a heart-shaped cloud. It was just the outline of a heart out of a stream of clouds that was up there. I've never seen anything.
Photos, pictures, honey, pictures.
Yes, pictures. Yeah, I put it up on my Facebook page if anybody wants to see it. But it just, when you see that, the things that don't make sense, you are left with the divine. That's another
Exactly.
thing that happens that
Yeah.
that I feel powerfully speaks to our soul when things don't make sense. Like, how did that get there? There's no reason for that.
Right. And question it, saying, what am I, when the synchronistic signs happen, say to yourself, what am I supposed to be learning from this? If you run into somebody at a supermarket, you're thinking of your friend Mike. You haven't seen him in 3 years. You're thinking of him that day. He shows up in the supermarket. Oh my God, I was just thinking of you. How weird, how strange. And then you part ways. I'm telling you, there's a reason why you two came together. All right. Maybe his soul touched yours, or, on some psychic level, maybe on some spiritual level. But listen to the conversation that happens when that happens. Right. So I don't think it's just weird that out of all the people, you just happen to think of them. I think that there's meanings for that, too. Like I said, I don't believe there's I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. Just really quickly, I get into this accident. A lot of people know the story. All right. I get into the accident. All my psychic abilities that I had, called freak as a child, weird, something's wrong with you, came to the surface, and it was strong. And I said, I didn't just hang out my shingle and say, okay, now I'm a psychic. I wanted to know, why is this happening? What are the mechanics of how psychic ability works, which is natural? Chakras, auras, meditation, breath. Started getting really into that. Is the plumbing. All right. That is the foundation of psychic. That's the mechanics. And then I started, after doing this, I always kept my day job, everybody, for 9 years. I would do readings on the side. I'd read tarot cards. I got into tarot and looking at that as symbols and all the symbology of that and the meanings and colors. I started doing readings. 2 years in doing psychic work, people on the other side started showing up. And I'll never forget it. There was a woman I was reading. Her name is Maury. She's an art student. She was an artist. And we were talking about colors in her work and her projects, not about her love life. All right. Because everyone thinks psychic ability is just about the future. You can talk about things now, too. And then as I'm reading for her, an elderly woman in my mind's eye, okay, subjectively, I saw this woman. As I'm looking at her clothes didn't match, and this woman is just showing me a diamond. I didn't know what the hell it was. I said, Maury, there's an old lady beside you. She's showing me a ring and her clothes don't match. She screamed. I screamed. She hugged me. I hugged her. And I said, what was that? And she said, my great aunt Ada, who helped raise me, was colorblind. And this is her diamond that I inherited. That's why the clothes didn't match. That's all I knew. And then every time I did a psychic session or seeing someone, they needed a little help, it would come a relative. I said, what is happening? I'm talking to dead people. I'm from the streets. Well, I'm from the city. I'm a city guy, city kid, right? So I started studying mediumship in LA, but there wasn't mediumship training. There was the Bodhi Tree bookstore, right? Which is famous in Los Angeles, but still there. And all they had were these very old spiritualist books from England. Even though everybody's spiritualism started here, it really took off in England. And it took off there. And there's so many spiritualist churches. And I'm reading these books about mediums' lives, Willa, saying, well, how are they dealing with this? How do they do this? What is that about? And 2 weeks into reading these books, there was only a few I had. I was fascinated by it. I said, wow, if I could ever get to England and study with these people. I never heard of the word spiritualist, never heard of the word medium. I said, if I could only study where these people study. 2 weeks into studying those, 2 weeks after that, I'm at a party. I step on a person's foot. Where are they from? England. We started talking. He invited me over. He had an empty room. that I could stay in. There were 8 churches, spiritual churches in his village. Although he wasn't a spiritualist, he was open, but okay. Everything lined up. I lost my job. Well, I had the time to do it. Well, how am I going to what am I going to do with my apartment? A friend of mine said, John, I hear you want to go to England. Can I stay at your place, pay your rent while you're gone? Yes. I had a little money. I got invited over. I trust it. I've never been to England or another country. I followed the signs. Not always easy, but I followed it. One thing led to another. Then I met the people at the Bristol church, and then I met Gordon Smith. And then one thing led to another. And this developed. They would just take me in open arms. I went to Stansted, College of Psychic Studies. And that's how it happened. I was there for 2.5 years. One thing happened after another, then I came back here. It's all in my book board, knowing I don't need to go on about it, but from the publishing meeting Hay House to meeting another psychic who introduced me to her agent, which got me into Hay House a month after I did the book proposal, to being at the I Can Do It. It's amazing. It is amazing. It's a lot of work. It's a life of service, but I'm just trying to show you blueprint, soul, and your soul is going to put things in front of you, but it's us who block us by psychological slavery. I call it, I'm not good enough.
Right.
Who do I think I am? They'll laugh at me. What will my family say? See, we stop it. So when the people who say nothing's happening to me, or whose story are you living, everyone? Is it your story or somebody else's that was programmed into you? See?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, you can tell. I could go on and on. Obviously it's all in here.
It's
yeah.
Great.
So
it's great.
Yeah.
I love it. I love what you're bringing to the table. This is awesome today, because I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate at different points in their life. They have felt
That's
that
right.
divine hunch, that intuitive lead to do something. And there can be that resistance of the rational mind says, well, who are you to do that? How is that going to happen? Who are you going to, what's that going to do? But your divine hunch is telling you, go to such and such a place, or talk to so and so. And you have to walk past all of those voices and all of those doubts that are assailing you during those times to
Right.
powerfully connect with your soul's purpose and your life
Right.
journey, so
Yep.
that you can fulfill what you know deep down you should be doing, and that you ultimately will be enough. And that I think that those feelings that people have, that humbleness, that those fears that hit them, yes, are partly programming, but I think it's also for us to say, do you really want this? Are you ready to work for it? Are you ready to see the majesty of the divine for what it is?
Yeah.
Are you truly ready? And you were ready at those points.
I was ready because I had that accident, and I thank God for the accident. Believe it or not, I thanked God and said, thank you. It put me on the path. In other words, I got my SHI together. You know what I mean? I got my life together. And it just, one thing just happened after the another. And I'm not saying it was easy, everyone. All right. But when you move, when you have those voices, I don't mean voices, entities, your own thoughts is what stops us. Where are they coming from? Figure that out, guys. Say, oh, that's my dad. That's my mom's stuff. Poor parents, they always get the blame, right? Or it could be society, because you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do it. I was quite artistic as a child, right? I could have went the art route. I could have went to art. I don't have regrets about it. The ability is still there. But when I was a kid, I was the one in school, in kindergarten, in grade school, that I'm the one that the teacher always got to draw something that needed to be drawn, to be hung up or something. And then my dad, bless him, right? He bought me a canvas. He bought me a little art kit, right? With the easel and the pastels and stuff. Then when he was drinking, very bad alcoholic, he would force me to draw when he was drinking. Well, it just took all the joy out of it. Do you understand? So it took many years for me to come back to it. But where is that coming from? That negative talk, everyone? Because some people, and somebody wants to be an artist, but yet society, their parents might have said, get a paycheck, get the 401k, work 9 to 5, retire at 65, right? If your natural ability is art, then have it as on the side hustle. Then do that on the side if you need the paycheck, because the artwork can turn into something wonderful. It's part of your soul. You were born with that. So yeah, it is moving past what you've been taught or what's been programmed into you, but it's also, where is it coming from? and Willie, you know this too. A lot of people, when it comes to spirituality, a lot of people come to spirituality because of a trauma that happened in their lives, okay, or something, or somebody passes away, and then their spiritual light gets turned on. To get more spiritual, to be spiritual, to, when I say be spiritual, I'm not just saying chanting. It's how you view the world, how you view yourself, how you help others, how you help the planet, how you help, you know, the every life force. I mean, every life, the critters, the, you know, the animal kingdom, how you do that. But what happens is when you're working on yourself spiritually, a lot of stuff is going to come up, Willa. Stuff is going to come up, people, right? And some people are like, well, I don't want that to come up. I don't want that hurt. It has to come up. You got to feel it to heal it, right? You got to feel it to heal it. It has to come up, guys, because if you don't, what's going to happen? It's going to manifest in your body. It's there, right, Willa? You know, it's going to come up. The past hurts, and some people are like, well, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to push that down there. It's going to come out. I'd rather let you go through the emotions. And it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to break down. It's okay to see a therapist, not just a medium, okay? Because some mediums aren't therapists. We're, you know, we're not. You know, so it's okay. Let it come up, get the help that you need so you can heal whatever trauma that happened in your past, and then go on and work with that.
That's an excellent point, because people do get a little scared as they get down the path of their own spiritual development.
That's right.
Because it starts to stir up the mud. But it's there so that you can clarify things, so that you can become free of those old attachments that are keeping you in that old mode of being that makes you resist your divine path all the more. So, you know, it's about bringing to light those things that we try to keep hidden, because, you know, as you were talking about earlier with medical intuition, you know, you started to notice that that's coming up more.
That's right.
You feel also that some of that is about those unresolved issues and some of those spiritual paths, and you can see where it's bound up in a certain location on a person, in a person, and that once they are able to, on a metaphysical level, resolve, then those physical things drop away, those mental things drop away, and they can have a step into the true power of their soul.
Yeah. And a lot of people too, when things happen in their lives, a lot of people turn to spirituality when in fact they need a therapist. Okay.
This is true. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I really believe that. It's because it's more than that. They turn to spirituality, and a lot, I'll get this a lot. I get a lot of emails like this too. My guides and angels aren't helping me with. Okay. Your guides, angels, they're there to help you, support you. They can't run your life. They can't take away your karmic lessons. They're not going to hurt the boo-boo, guys. A lot, they can help. They can be there for you, support you, just like people. They cannot interfere with your karmic lessons that you're supposed to learn here, all right? They can help and guide. Someone's like, but they're not, I want them to help me with this. They can, but sometimes a therapist is needed here in the physical world. Also, do you understand? Yeah, I'm a big advocate of therapy, you know, and you know, you can have both, guys. All right, you can have both, and that's what sets me apart from my, you know, I'm one of 5 kids. I'm the different one. I'm not. This is not ego. I read a lot as a child. I'm aware of consciousness and spirit. My consciousness is a little different than the rest of theirs. And even though I've been doing this TV show, 6 books, 3 oracle decks, newspapers, I can do what conferences. They could give a toss. They've never read my book. Even when I try to give advice, I can't, I'm saying this a lot too now, I can't save anybody. I can support them, but I can't save them. Every time that I try to help someone or a sibling, that's my childhood, me trying to take care of my mom all over again. Every time I try to help a sibling or say, you should do this, thank you, universe, for showing me yet again what I need to work on. Yeah. Catch myself all the time, and it's not easy. And God forbid, I see someone not doing what they should with their dog. Thank you, universe, for showing me. People, I can't change people. They have to change themselves. Do you understand? Yeah, what an interesting discussion, right? See, it's not just about linking and blending with spirit. I feel like this too. You have so many wonderful mediums talking about mediumship. And this is part of the soul, which is mediumship comes from the soul, guys. So I hope people will benefit from this also. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I think to your point that people do need to embrace the therapy or counseling to get them through things, that really having someone to talk to work through those issues is essential.
And a minister too.
And
A minister is quite
a
good too. I
minister
mean, yeah,
can counsel and offer things from a bit more of a spiritual perspective,
that's
I
right.
suppose, because it's important to have a spiritual response instead of just a knee-jerk reaction.
That's right.
But as you said, you know, angels, guides, they can't step on our free will toes. They can't do that. They have to allow us to engage fully with our free will. That is our personal responsibility that we have in our own lives. And
That's
so
right.
I'm glad you're speaking to the fact that people may not feel like they're a prophet in their own land, where within their own family, they are not listened to, even though so many people would listen to John Holland, right? A whole world would listen to John Holland, but
Yeah.
your own family won't do that because
Mhm.
that's not how they see you.
Yeah.
They
And
see you in a different, so in some ways it's about roles and knowing that even within the power of your soul and your soul's purpose, you have different soul's purpose with different people.
that's right. That's right. And I say this too. Everyone's exactly where they're supposed to be. I'll say this to students. I'll say this to people in my audiences. Your spirituality, they say you walk a spiritual path alone. You will find other people. Some people will fall away, okay? But everyone's exactly what they're supposed to be. If you're studying mediumship or healing, or you're a believer in it, or anything, you can't force that on somebody because they're not there yet. If they see you doing something that's working in your life, things are, you're happier, more joyful, things are manifesting for you in your life, then you're setting an example. And if people go up to you and say, what are you doing that, excuse me, that this is happening, then it's okay. You can't force this anyway. You might have a partner, husband, wife, women, man, who cares, right? And they're into it. And they saw they went to a healing class. They shouldn't go to their partner. I can hear you. This is real. Put a book out. And a lot of people say, how do I do that? My husband, he doesn't believe in any of this. I say this. It could go the other way too. A wife and a guy is, studying this. Put a book on the table or something on the subject, and you're going to think they'll never read it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. When you leave out of the room, they go on to finger through it. And the stories that you tell, they're going to be like, yeah, right. But they're still taking it in. And how about this, Willa? You go for a reading. You got the other partner who says, I don't believe in that stuff. Yeah, right. Talking to the other side, right? But as soon as they come home, what do they say? Did they say anything about me? Right? They wanted to, right? Did my mother come through? See, even though they're saying, yeah, right. One of the first things they say, did he say anything about me? So I believe they're cynics, and other people are just you can't convince them. All you can do is give the best evidence possible, Willa, right? I just say, I just have an open mind. I don't mind skeptics. Skeptics are just saying, show me. Cynics are like, their mother could show up right in front of them. They're going to think it's a hologramic image that's caused from the rainbow, from the rain that's falling, going through the sun, who's bouncing off the picture, so yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
Wherever somebody's at, you just have to accept that that's the position they've taken up and leave space for improvement. But I do often tell people, you can't give a first grade or ninth grade material. It'll blow the brains. So that's why if you do take a class and you want to share it with your significant other, you may just want to, take another deep breath and realize that they're not ready to speak that language yet.
That's right.
And that you have to meet them wherever they're at. And it doesn't mean you have to keep after them because they're not at your particular speed. Sometimes you do just need somebody who is your man or woman that you can be with. And
thank God.
And have your friends, your spiritual friends that you can talk with.
Because I have my own, yeah.
Yeah,
I got a tribe. I mean, you shouldn't say the word tribe politically anymore, but I have my own group of spiritual people, and I have friends that I walk the dogs with. They have nothing to do with my work. I want that. Yes. I don't have to be around mediums all the time. I mean, and think, right, Willa, and think about it. I always joke and say, would you want to be, for anyone who is a medium, it's like, would you want to be with another one of you? No, I don't want another one of me. You know what I mean? I don't mind somebody who can ground me. right? So my last partner I had for 13 years, not into this, but he grounded me, but I elevated, but I taught him about energy. And so they'll use that now. We're still friends, right? They'll still use that in a talk saying, yeah, but what's the energy of the room? And which they see. So I'd rather have somebody grounding there also. And I love the partners. They don't have to be into it. I love the partners that say this, as long as they're happy, as long as
Yes.
she or he is happy, I'm okay
Yes.
with that. Yeah, right?
I think that's what makes the difference. So in the pursuit of the power of your own soul and the pursuit of your own soul's purpose, do not feel that your spouse has to do that very same thing too,
That's right.
or that your children have to do that same thing, or that anybody else in your circle has to be just like that, or
Yeah,
why isn't their soul's purpose like mine? Why don't they see the value of this? We have to indulge ourselves in what we want to pursue, but
that's
allow
right.
others to pursue in their own way.
Willa, do you have siblings?
Oh, of course, yes.
Right.
And all,
But
all of them have intuition, but none of them is going to be professional or do to anything to this degree. And that's okay.
you and your mom, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
like
yes.
how many siblings do you have?
So I have 3 other siblings, 3 other kids
Right,
in the family. Yes.
right. So you're one of
And
4 kids?
one of 4 kids.
Right. And you're the one that's living, practicing, and serving as a medium.
Exactly.
Right. And and let them go do their
But
thing.
I don't expect them to go and do
No.
that.
Right. And I don't expect my siblings to read my book or come to my events because my brother's he's a mailman. Do I follow him on his route? You know what I mean? To see, and my brother's a nurse, have no interest. Yeah, and it's like, no. So everyone's exactly where they're supposed to be, guys. And if you're doing something that someone else is saying what's working for you, then yes. And also, if you see something that somebody else is doing that you so want, try not to get jealous or envious. Okay. If you're seeing them, it's also meant for you. And I don't care if it's a medium or if somebody's an artist, I don't care if it's an administration position, whatever it is, don't say, God, how did they get that? I should be getting this. How could, don't do that. Say this. I learned this from Terry Cole Whitaker, who was a speaker way before in the day, right? She said, say this, that's for me. That's for me. If that way you are blessing the person and you are affirming it for yourself, right? Don't say that. Don't go negative and say, how did they get that? How come? That's for me, because you're blessing them and you are affirming it for yourself. So it's a double win.
Right.
Right.
It is a double win. You want to bless them and bless yourself and bless yourself into the right mindset and energy of acceptance. So
right.
because if you go into judgment mode, and that shuts things down in terms of pursuing your soul's purpose, and also shuts you down from feeling the good energy that is going to amplify in your life so that you
That's right.
can do your soul's purpose to the highest and best that you can.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
those are
And if it is mediumship, I mean, then that's great. Then get the training, guys. Okay. What I think happens.
Things. Mm-hmm.
Right. I think a lot of people, I really believe the consciousness of man is changing. Is the veil getting thinner, or is that consciousness getting higher? Because a lot of people are touching on mediumship that have never even thought about it. And I know for you and I, it was always there as a child. All right. It was there. It was there. And it could come later. There are many mediums, great mediums, who lose a spouse or a parent, and then they find spiritualism, and then they see that they're also on the path for that too, right? So if you're interested in it, right? If somebody sees somebody, right? This happens a lot. They see a medium, they're like, oh my God, that's so good. I want to try that. Okay. It's a life of service, everyone. It's a lot of training to do it properly. Not take a weekend workshop and hang out a shingle, guys, because people's lives are in your hands. And if you do this, everyone, and there's a woman who's never been to medium, never seen a medium work. She comes to see a medium who's not ready, who hasn't had the proper training yet, but yet they're out there and they're watching the medium, or they go for a private reading, and it doesn't work, or it's not right. That mother who's never been to a medium because the loss of her child may say this: if that's what mediumship is, then this is not for me. You are representing people too, guys, too, and people's lives are in your hands. But what I think is happening, Willa, to finish, is we're touching the realm. We're touching the realm or the rim of the spirit world. Two friends could be out, and then one friend turns to another and says, God, I keep hearing the name Philip. Philip. Oh my God, my dad's Philip. He passed away last year. I must be a medium. Are you? Or does that mean to go into it as a full-time life of service, guys? It just means that something's happening with us. We can have our own connections, bridging two realms, learn to communicate with your loved ones on the other side. The first part of that book, this is not even about my book because it came out 3 years ago or 4 years, 18, 19, 20, 22, 5. The whole part of the book is about to help people with loss, to let you know that you can have your own communication, and you don't need to be a medium. And if you think about it, if you're getting a message or evidence from a medium, okay, about your loved one, you get in then you're getting it secondhand, right? You can get it for yourself, right? The second part of the book is what it really takes. So you want to be a medium? Here you go, right? So but Willa, thank you for allowing me to present to you, to talk about the soul. Obviously, can you see I'm passionate about it? And with the medical stuff, we'll see what that goes. But if I'm going to do that, Willa, I need to study the anatomy of the human body. So my guides, my ability has that in my spiritual toolbox to draw from. Do you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes getting to the top of the mountain to really see the vista of your soul's purpose, there are all these other steps that have to be taken that you have to say yes to. So for you would have to say, yes, I'm studying the anatomy of the human body to really understand the nuances of this, so that when I feel that intuitively, the medical intuition of that I can be accurate.
That's right. We get spiritual. Yep.
And so, yeah, there are steps that need to be taken even in the spiritual arts, as it were, energetic
absolutely. Arts. You may have an intuitive say something to you, or you may be in a meditation, and you'll hear, for instance, you ask to, okay, what do I need right now? You may hear patience, be with yourself more, spend time outdoors. That's all well and good, very airy, very beautiful, but those are words. Okay, what is the action though? What does that look like? If I'm feeling I'm supposed to be doing healing, or that's coming to me, oh, I'm supposed to be doing healing. Well, John, what are you going to do? What spiritual line to action are you going to do? What does that look like? If you got a message from your intuition, your soul, it just said, rest more. Oh, my spirit told me to rest more. Isn't that great? What does that look like? It means, what? Every Wednesday morning, I'm taking off for me. Every Thursday night, instead of doing this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get that massage. I'm going to, what does that look like for you? Okay. And it's an action. You just can't, not just saying the words. What does that look like? And then you write it down. I think that also helps. So So power of the soul. We're amazing. If we just realize how truly amazing we are. You are a soul that comes with the body, not a body that comes with the soul. You are soul first. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show today, John. It's just a wealth of information. And
look at the time. Boom.
I know the time goes so fast.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that you were able to be here with us today on Wednesdays with Willa. And you can check out more about John Holland on johnholland.com. So you can find out more about his activities and events and his community. And I know we'll hear more from you in the future. Have you on the show?
Thank you for you. I mean, thank you for, this is one of your gifts. You're sharing your knowledge, right? Notice, okay, for free, you're doing this, right? So she's sharing it, guys, everyone. See, who am I talking to? All right. She's sharing this because it's what she does, guys. All right. And she's honoring her ability by sharing this with all of you. So Willa, thank you so much for being the incredible medium and for the support of us and the advocate for spiritualism and, working there at Lilydale. Give my best to your mom, even though I've never met the woman yet, but yet. Okay. So
yes,
thank you.
You need to meet her someday soon.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Willa.
Well, thank you, everyone. And I'll see you next week on Wednesdays with Willa for another great show. Bye-bye.
Bye.